So I decided to actually redo the video. I made a video, I was uploading it, and I decided it was way too goddamn long for way too little support. Like, I tried some lesser teams for this clear, thinking like, well, this is kind of a lot in terms of units, and people wouldn't have this much. But the thing is, it was an hour video of me testing some lower tier units, and I couldn't get the lower tier clear. I think it is possible. So I'm going to do the setup of the video a little differently this time. I'm going to do a clear that you can easily follow if you have the stats and the units. Just have more things. I'm going to do that, and then I'll show the other clear. So this is the setup that I'm using. It's nothing particularly fancy. I have the killer for the boss because, might as well. You're going to need all the help you can get for not really the boss, you're going to need it for the minions. I don't have anything fancy here, it's just whatever. This damage taken from non-god types is actually kind of useful. The most important thing is obviously this, and it's not for the stats, it's for the light res. Honestly, I could swap this out for more light res to just make this a little more... I'm fighting for light res everywhere. I don't think he needs that. And it gets a little more damage cap, but I have a spear equipped, so it's not totally worthless for her. So, like, that should help. There we go. And he can kind of just use whatever. I wish it didn't take it off units that are not currently on your team. FFB kind of... Near the end, they added that feature, and it was just a really nice quality of life that you could equip items on the same unit as long as the unit wasn't in your party. And then if you loaded that unit into your party, it would just tell you, oh, this unit had this shared equipment, and they're not equipping it anymore, so, swap it in. The magic barrier is worthless for her. She's going to be using the better version all the time, but light resist... Technically, you can actually do better by replacing this with more light resist, and probably replacing this with more light resist. But I have her paids, I'm going to use her paids. I refuse to not do that. Even if it's a detriment to the clear, because light resist is everything. And that's part of the reason why Dias is here. To be clear, Dias is only in this party to SCT battery. That's why he has the mask on. I stand by, he's a terrible unit in 95% of the game, but when you need an SCT battery on a boss that's a little bit bulky, he does amazing just because of this insane raw strength. Like, I don't even think I might have turned on... Oh, he is a Brute Slayer, so he automatically gets a killer bonus as well. So yeah, he's golden. He has 45 resist plus 20 from the arc, and that makes him near invulnerable for this fight. Shaltir is the weakest of the Link, and it doesn't matter, she's essential. This is probably the best... I mean, if you have a ridiculous amount of items and arcs and all that shit, like, maybe you can do something better, but for me, this is the absolute min-max clear and very unit requiring, and if you don't have any of these units, like, you can maybe replace Dias with another SCT battery, but if you don't have Shaltir, this will not work for this particular setup. I'll do another one with Seaside and just kind of show you the idea and maybe get the clear if it works, but I'm going to do that after showing this one because time constraints. I don't want to waste your time watching runs that don't actually have a good rate of getting the clear. Deus is actually really feeling that light damage. Okay, so I kind of should have been attacking his tentacle. The mechanics of this boss fight: the tentacles empower the boss's magic. They do some garbage AoE when you get close to them, I've been lucky, and it just started the AoE. And that AoE will kill your units, like, it is very strong. And if you ignore them, they will then deal another AoE that's a targeted magic attack. And it can easily kill units. It does like 15, 20k damage depending on your resists. I mean, I guess 15, like 50k damage depending on your resists. So you want to focus on killing the tentacles while DPSing the boss, obviously. I'm caught in the Afterlife AoE on that one. I'm really not a fan of those tentacles. I think they're badly designed. Like, personally, I think they're just straight up badly designed. They can spawn, the worst thing that can happen is they can spawn at your unit's respawn location, and if that happens, it's very easily just a rip run. Like, if you lose a unit while they're over there, they'll respawn and they'll trigger the AoE on the... I guess I didn't actually have to hit that one. During the phase, he will kill all the tentacles. This is the phase, you'll have to do this 3 times. It's, don't get hit by the lights. I was trying to open my magic for some reason. You have this debuff on you. While that's up, the next light will kill you. Once it's gone, you can survive a hit from lights easily. So just be aware of that. I wanted to pause the thing to talk about that, but it wouldn't open my spells. I guess they're blocked during that. Do not use your special on her until the last 25%. It's, I think that's kind of standard knowledge, but you're going to have to deal with the boss at its strongest during its last 25%, and you want to not do that. You want to not deal with the boss while it is stronger. I could change my summon. I always forget to. I have this worthless one. It does nothing. I need to put on the defensive buffing one or the revive one, I guess. Either one of those actually do something. I'm actually going to phase the boss, but just for the sake of showing how you're supposed to fight it if you're not just insanely strong. You do want to use your S2 on any of the tentacles that spawn. Okay, well that's not good. That tentacle escaped the culling effect because it spawned in as the phase was starting, so that's a bug, quote, quote. It should not happen that way. The fight is not balanced for it to happen that way. I'm going to have extra tentacles for the next phase because of that. Because at the end of each phase, he spawns more. It's not a run-ender. Like, I can easily kill it. And there's the 2 that are supposed to be here. It's better safe than sorry on these. Diaz is already getting juggled. Yeah, I think they should have removed that little spinning AoE for this and just had them do the magic. And that would have made it much more accessible. I don't think they needed to go this hard for the Christmas event. Like, I feel like this one should have had a little bit lower of a bar of entry to make it. I mean, the boss is already very tanky. You're going to have a hard time if you're doing less DPS than this. So, just not completely destroying the run by having bad luck on tentacle spawns would have already been enough. Like, the average player is going to have a hard time. But these tentacles really just straight up gatekeep this boss. Like, and something I should say, You saw that wasn't that much damage from the AoE. To be clear, the tentacles buff the boss's magic when they're on the field, and they buff each other's AoE. With 3 tentacles, that hits 99999. Like, it's 9,999 damage because that's their cap. And it'll hit harder if it could. Like, even on very tanky units, it's doing a lot of damage. So now, obviously, the last phase. Oh. That was a mistake. It won't matter, but I thought the boss was on its last phase. It's entering its last phase. It was a very bad mistake on my part, but I should have enough time. It'll be fine. Like, this is eating up a bunch of my double hit timer, but it should be fine. Maybe? I was looking at my buff timer. Okay. Yeah. I have 4 seconds to get my double hits in. It should be enough. You know, if you know Shelter, she does a lot of damage with that buff up. So I misplayed that, but even then, just the couple hits that I got were enough. If I had used the special after the phase change, like I was thinking I thought the phase change had already happened, wasn't paying that much attention, was distracted by talking about bad mechanics, I would have easily got the timer as well as killed the boss instantly. I got like 2 skills that were empowered, and the rest were just normal skills. It would have been 3 skills to kill the boss if I had my empowered abilities. So yeah. I feel like they made this a little excessive on the offensive difficulty. If the tentacles were only casting magic at you, it would have still been hard, and more DPS would be viable. And you're going to see why here. On paper, she has really good DPS for this boss fight, by the way. You have a lot of options for your DPS. Maybe you could do something with Telestio. He was another unit that, like, I haven't really built him for bursting. I haven't taught him the skills he needs. I don't think I'm going to for this fight because I think there's a chance that it works. I don't think it's worth the effort to make it work. For me. Like, if he's all you've got, I mean, you could try. It's probably not gonna do well, if I'm being honest, but he has very high potential DPS due to his multi-elements, and the boss is vulnerable to basically every element. Enough of it that he's going to have a net neutral, and you can then push his resistance into the negative for debuffs. But this is just so much worse. As you will soon see. Because I have to get into melee range for the tentacles, and if I don't get good crit luck, there goes the AoE, and I'm dead. Like, that AoE popping off when you get melee is absolutely agony. There it goes again. Which it's not a rip run yet. It can very quickly become one at this point. he just got hit by the light magic. As I said, when there's multiple tentacles on the field, it hits very hard. Yeah, the only downside to melee SCT batteries, or him in particular, but all melees in general. This is not looking good. It can go a little better than this. Like, this is probably a worst case scenario, but honestly, not that much better. Expect a bad experience. I just need her to be all the way out of the AoE. She can kill the tentacles in melee, but she needs her special buff. You good? It's like, you gonna heal him? You just gonna let him die? Why? She's fed up with this boss. So am I. That white magic's gonna be very powerful. I almost want to just... Yeah, I almost just want to pop her special to, like, try to get some bulk, because that empowered light is so strong. Okay. I gotta get these tentacles under control. Like, I gotta do that, or else runs over. Like, they're all on this... As I said, they spawn the player side. It's awful. You respawn, they immediately start an AoE. I'm getting pelted with high damage light attacks. It's probably going to start the AoE and kill me here. There it goes. I didn't think that was going to work. Like, they're not that strong, but I couldn't get my mages to one-shot them. If you could, that would be another option. I can't believe that didn't kill. Alright, I need to... She's gonna die anyway. No? Alright, we've got back on top of it. A little bit. Not really. Not even close. We have the tentacles in the worst possible spawn. Everything is going to shit so quickly. The boss is too high HP for me to shove the next phase to get rid of all these tentacles. Okay. Okay, we got a thing now. A thing is happening, it might work. By having the mitigation from the boss's AoEs and flinch immunity, I might be able to get these under control. Probably not, they're really close together, and if they double up any attacks, Yeah, if they double up any attacks, even with the mitigation, I will die. Yep, that's how quickly it just goes to shit. I mean, it was a slow loss, but I knew I had lost once I had those tentacles all up and I had nothing to take them out. It's like I wish I could give you a better team, not a better team, but like a lower entry team that could do something here. But honestly, there isn't anything you can do unless your mages can just nuke the tentacles immediately. I don't have any that can, because your mages will also time stop block the boss, so he can't use his magic, and he'll just stand there and wait. But I mean, if I really try, I can immediately get one shot by the magic. Beautiful. Beautiful start. The pain of being a ranged DPS. Or a physical DPS with like one range skill, I mean. Not being a ranged DPS. Okay. I just have to. I'm just gonna have to spam this to get it done. And it's not enough. It's simply not enough. If I had Endless Vacation up, I could actually out heal their little spin attack, but I do not have that up. Healer's not having time to rebuff my resists, so and now the tentacles are right on the spawn. It's not looking good. Okay, I need my resists. Like I'm just gonna have to hope that I get enough SAT to just spam Seaside nonstop. Maybe get Endless up. Like that melee AoE. I hate that gameplay design choice. You have to get in melee range. Like you don't. Only a few characters in the game have the DPS requirement and range. It's just it's bad design. They should not have that melee AoE. It's not difficult. It's just exclusionary. Like nothing about that is skill related. I can easily take care of it on my other character just because she has higher damage. And I don't have to get close. I'm gonna spawn into it. Oh good, it ended. Never mind. That's part of the reason you need to focus on the ones that are on the player side. Prioritize those, because if they start spamming that AoE, you'll revive straight into death and then just get infinitely looped. Okay, it's just finished. Didn't matter. Alright. This run is still salvageable, but like, as you can see, it's not good in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm just gonna say it, this is a poorly designed boss fight. The developers were really off the mark on this one. It's not challenging in any way, shape, or form. It is just punishing. Nothing about this is like, oh, you skilled incorrectly or you built your characters wrong. This is just, if you're stuck in this same position because you don't have Shouts here, or another serviceable ranged DPS, it's nothing you did wrong. It's just that the boss was poorly designed. The fact that as soon as you get close to these, they do that AoE, and it's so fucking strong. Like, it is ungodly strong. I'm gonna give it one more shot. Because, like, in theory, I can beat this boss with this team. On paper, it should be able to happen. But, like, I guess I can equip that. That would help a little bit. It wouldn't help much, but it'll help a little. I'll be able to somewhat survive the magic attack with a little less support, but it's not going to make much of a difference. That one piece of gear I'm missing was 1.5k caps, is the biggest thing it gave me. Good on dual wield, but I knew I was missing it, I just didn't think it would make that much of a difference. I mean, I know it won't make that much of a difference. Put it that way. RNG will make the difference. Like that. I would have died there, but just because of the RNG on that cast time, it kind of worked out in my favor that he healed me mid-AoE and brought me back up. But I will die if I get in melee range, so I'm honestly just gonna hit the boss, I guess. Guess I would have died there, so I mean, resist helped a little. But yeah, you literally just need to focus the minions and hit them with range. I can actually jump in after that attack finishes and finish it off, because it has a little bit of a delay on it. Now, you can't reliably count on that, but it was an option in that very limited instance. Like, just the bulk of the boss already made this hard enough, I think. Like, if I was designing this boss fight, I would say the bulk the boss has and the 3 phases that can insta-kill are already enough difficulty that we don't need to have these minions. You can have them. And you can make it so, like, if the players don't focus them, they will use that magic attack that it'll hurt. But I would have said they don't need to be doing any melee attacks at all. Like, have the minions, the tentacles just need to sit there and do nothing other than cast that light magic once in a while if they're alive long enough to do it. I would have put like a fixed cast time I felt balanced with, you know, like 5 seconds, and then they would cast that light AoE, and, you know, it's already threatening enough. That light AoE is no joke. It'll do like 4,000 damage. Not 13, 14,000 damage to a character built with light resist. I can actually get this up and it's going to help a lot. Actually, I'm not going to. I lied. I'm going to save that for the next phase. Because I am about to show the phase, and this is bad. Alright. Yeah, see, that was the light attack hitting her. That almost killed her in one hit. Yeah, so there's the phase. That'll get rid of those two tentacles for me. And with how fast this character is, there's very little chance that you'll die with this phase. But yeah, the fact that if you mess up once on this phase, it's just run over, that's already plenty of DPS, or durability gatekeeping, I guess. Player skill gatekeeping, in my book. So, now I will use this, because it's going to allow me to actually DPS those worms with these, because I'll be flinch immune, and the damage from, or the lifesteal from the crits will keep her alive. So I can somewhat safely DPS. Or not. Or not. That was just a really unlucky spell that he chose to use. He either uses Galaxy or that, and he's apparently decided he wants to double up on this bullshit. Double worm-empowered death. That is very unfortunate. As I said, it's RNG. I hope you like RNG if you're going like this type of clear. I don't think I can live this. I mean, if the run's probably over either way, but I need that, like, the chance that I can recover, I have to have my ability to refill specials for the final phase. If I do that now, I basically have zero chance of completing the final phase. I don't know why the healer's not topping him off. Like, he should be low enough that... Okay. Can I have some SCT, please? Brother, may I have some honey? Finally. Get juggled by one minion, get juggled by the next. I mean, I gotta hit the button, but I know it's just gonna result in death. guess I'll try. Let me get him up, let him tank the AoE, and then get her up after. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yep. I saw that happen and I was just... There wasn't anything I could do! I witnessed the death coming and was just like, well... We tried. Like, I guess maybe AoE debuffs might do something, but, like, I don't think you're living that, I'm gonna be honest. Do something! Make it happen! I don't know what it's supposed to do, but, like, kill a tentacle, maybe. He might kill that one. He didn't. He didn't do it. He did his best, though. Alright. The tentacle's already back. This is not going the way I would like it to. Let me live! I just want to live! Like, this is going to be such an empowered attack, there's no way I live it. I lived! I'm dying! I lived only to die! Okay. I need him to... I honestly need to just focus the boss and get out of this phase. Like, I don't know if it's gonna happen. Like, I'm very far from the next phase. And I need him to get some MP back. I need a lot of things, and it's unlikely that they're going to happen. Oh, oh good. He has MP. Give me... Please. Give me the honey. Give me the honey. Give me the honey. Okay. Okay, I can shove the phase now and at least make it to the third phase. Maybe. Okay, thank God. Okay, get the tentacles off the screen. Go away. You have to work so hard for the Christmas event. Still vulnerable now. Screw it. Hey, I gotta do it. This is gonna be insanely empowered. His strongest attack, while also having to insta-spawn minions from the phase change. If he used Galaxy, I wouldn't have needed to do this. But this probably cost me the run, but I can at least see. They were also in really bad positions. And he's apparently just going to go back to back with that spell. Beautiful! Love to see it! Okay. What's going on with that animation there? She turned into a spaghetti. Back to the minions. Back to the boss. Almost shoving the last phase. Honestly, I think I just gotta go for it. I'm about to lose my invulnerability to flinch. Alright. There we go. It's possible. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's gonna happen. I wish I could play with the keyboard rather than having to click the thing to move. I don't. I'm going over here to grab this, and yeah, we had to use that earlier. So best of luck for this phase. If I can get Endless back up, there's a chance. He's probably not going to get hers back up any time in this lifetime. Okay. I don't think it's enough, but 50% boss mitigation, go! If I had Rena's buff, maybe I would survive this. I have very low hopes, as is. Actually, okay, that just instantly made it not survivable. Maybe? Yes! Flinch immunity saved my life. I don't want to jump into that because it won't save my life over there. This is... Flinch immunity. Who needs bulk? I'm about to die. I needed bulk. She's casting another spell. Don't waste your mana. Another one. Oh, that's all she wrote. Yeah, I knew that was about to happen. I knew all of them were cooking their special attack, their little light magic. As I said, even that light magic is already threatening. If they didn't do the spin attack at all, that light magic would make the fight hard. But the fact that they basically just lock out a portion of the arena. As I said, it's possible. If I didn't have to resort to using my special earlier due to bad RNG, it's possible if you have a maxed out, what is that thing called? G-War? God? Great War of Ruin. If you don't have a maxed out one of these, it becomes a whole lot less possible. But if I didn't have to use that earlier to save the run, and I had it for the final part, I would have had Rena's buff up, I would have had her buff up. Between the two of them, the other guy, Diaz would have been able to survive the minions without getting obliterated, maybe. And I would have been able to get enough SCT back to kill off all of the tentacles. And if I had gotten back on top of the tentacle spawn, because the 3 spawn at that last phase, it also was really bad RNG on his spells. You're just fighting RNG at this point. It's not even, there's nothing but just bad luck, bad luck, bad luck. The boss used his strongest magic instead of using Galaxy, I think 3 times in a row, or was it only 2? Either way, it was like I barely was able to survive that by life stealing while being flinch immune to the magic. Diaz got obliterated by it, obviously, so he was out of the fight. He couldn't get me any more SCT back. Like, if not for that bad RNG, it was possible. If he'd used gravity as his first attack, because it doesn't hit the entire map with every hit, so you're very easily able to survive it. And it's a very long animation, and I'm flinch immune, so I could have been working on the minions while that was going on. It's doable. I honestly just, if you don't have Shao Tier or a comparable DPS with ranged viability or just total flinch immunity, I'm not up to date on which units have complete flinch immunity, but if you have total flinch immunity and you can survive the physical AoE around the minions, like you can just burst them down. Only having flinch immunity once in a while and not having the bulk to be able to survive those minions' AoEs effectively makes it a very tough fight. So, I hate to say it, but it's probably not worth your time. It's not worth your time to try to fight this fight at all if you don't have Shao Tier or a comparable DPS. Maybe, and I say this with like big quotes on the maybe here, maybe a mage can do it. The if you have a very good mage, I don't know that, like, I assume Lai is still the strongest mage. And I mean, you need a time stop mage. Technically, I'm pretty sure Ainz is stronger than Lai in like specific damage, but you need a mage that can hit the entire map to get rid of the tentacles. And the reason I say maybe, I don't think any mage can kill the tentacles quickly. But what they can do is they can stop the boss from using his magic due to time stop mechanics. So if you have a really powerful mage that can at least somewhat chip down the tentacles and you can just focus on your other DPS on the boss, it's possible. Like, I'll show, just for the sake of completion, I'll show, I'm not even going to take a DPS because I already know this. Well, I've already tested this. I know it doesn't work, but I have to, like, the only way I could see maintaining your MP with this kind of thing is taking the book. And I'll do what I can to try to make it as viable as it's going to get. Like, it's not going to be viable. I already somewhat set up a build, but I didn't, like, I tested a light build, just like a little bit of adjustment over my usual build, and it was awful, so I never bothered to set up another one. I had Eggmobile on because I was trying to Goddess Kiss mana at one point. She was able to beat the normal one. Like, there's 3 design choices that I would have done differently if I was trying to design a boss like this. Either the minions would not have that melee range AoE, like I would remove that from their kit. I would make them much squishier, so they're easier to be killed, because the whole design of the fight is kill the tentacles anytime they spawn. I would have made them more vulnerable to being killed by an average DPS. Or I would have just reduced their spawn rate. So, like, you got one tentacle every, I don't know, 40, 50 seconds at the most. 50 seconds in game time, not video time, because those are very different things. That's how I would balance them. I'm just going to go here real quick because this one kind of feels like how it should have been with the other one, just due to how vulnerable the tentacles are. The boss can be bulkier, sure, but this is somewhat viable here. I don't think I actually need to put buffs up, but if I'm going to. She's so strong. I'm actually kind of happy to see her come back this far, because she was honestly dog shit before this update. She was not good. But yeah, like, now if that was what was going on with the minions in the harder mode, like, sure. But that is not what's going on with the minions in the harder mode. No. I can clear that one. Obviously, this is very easy. Anyone can beat the easy one. But if we go here, you're going to see the minions don't even flinch to the magic. Like, they don't care. Very different experience. Because I can see this boss being designed around having a mage and a physical, and then you have to rely on your physical. Like, if I was designing it, let's be clear, I would design it in such a way that the boss is very bulky, as it is. 350 million HP is not squishy. But the tentacles would be weak enough that you could kill them with magic. and that would require you to take a mage and a physical DPS rather than an SCT battery, which would automatically make that HP so much more durable. Like, when I say make the HP more durable, I mean, even though it would only have the same HP, because you can't constantly spam your best skills, the fight would be a good battle of attrition. And yeah, that's my magic. That's what I got for my best mage, period. Best time slot mage. Like there's no way that it's viable unless my mage is just dog shit. And it might be. I very rarely invest into mages. I felt like she instantly jumped to the top of my mage list, like damage wise. And what is that? Maybe 16% per cast? It's not viable. But that's how I would have designed it. Have them spawn spread out more so that you really wanted to use a mage, and if you use a mage, you can keep the minions under control, and if you use a mage, you also have to give up a big chunk of your potential burst, so it works out, you can try to go heavy burst and just shove the phase, or you can take a mage and a DPS that's decent and can SCT themselves, or you can just wait on your SCT naturally. God forbid. It's such an awful idea, but, you might have to. And the boss would only be doing its magic attacks without the empowerment from all the minions on the field. That feels like it would have been a much better designed boss. It would still stress players. Everyone would be able to get a clear if that was the case. You're probably not even getting the 10-minute clear if you're using a mage and a DPS without an SCT recovery skill built into the DPS. And even if you are, you're definitely not getting the 4-minute clear. A good challenge, but not just punishing. As it is, I said it before, but honestly, if you don't have Shout here, skip the fight. Maybe if you have some other DPS I'm not aware of that can compete with Shout here, go for it, but it's not worth your time. Like, unless you really like this border, it's not worth your time. I'll probably never even use the border. I'll go turn it on right now. I'm gonna turn it on right now just so people know that I cleared the boss. I did it! And then I'll go back to the one that I actually... the one that's actually a flex. Profile. Where's the border again? There it is. Which one is it? This one? Yes. There we go. Now everyone knows that I beat the boss. I can flex it in everyone's face that I happen to have the right units to do the boss. No skill involved, just the right units. The bare minimum of knowledge of the game required. But yeah. So that's that. Sorry if you don't have the units. I mean, the clear I tried afterwards that I showed with Seaside, that's the best advice I can give, and that's my best unit to try to do it. And I've told you how the clear should go. I was very clear about where it was lost on the one that I actually made it to the final phase. The moment I had to use G-War, I had to use that early, the fight was over. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to... I didn't know for sure, but I was 90% sure that I was not going to be able to get the clear, because I needed all of my specials on that final 25%. And I knew there was no way I was going to recover them naturally over that period. And, like, even trying to mentally plan out how I could maybe get around needing to save G-War for that long, I got nothing. Like, I don't have any solution. You just have to get through the fight with very good RNG, not have to rely on using G-War to save the fight from a potential loss until you get to the last 25% and then rely on G-War to actually, do what you brought it for and get your specials up when you need them in the last clutch 25%. And also, even then, you're still somewhat dependent on RNG because if you had done gravity, I might have been able to recover even without having G-War for the last bit. Again, big might there. On paper, it would have been possible, and I was kind of, there was good luck and bad luck going on. The fact that it put all the minions on the opposite side of the arena in a little pile is the only reason I kept trying after I had reached that point and realized that, like, it was going badly. I would have just given up if the minions were all over the arena. But the fact that they were all together, there was a chance. A snowball's chance in hell, but a chance nonetheless that I would have been able to burst them down if I could just get Diaz to live long enough to give me some stocks. But it didn't happen, honestly. If they're spread all over, it's going to be rough. If the boss is spamming his best magic instead of his weaker magic, it's going to be rough. Like, there's just so many layers of RNG going on. You're going to have a hard time, or you're going to have a very easy time. There's nothing in between. But that'll do it for now. Sorry if I wasn't able to give you a clear outline for a lesser team, but this boss is overtuned. Definitely overtuned. With that, later.